If you find yourself trying to be good all day, counting calories only to stop at the shops on the way home for crisps, biscuits, or picking at the kids' dinner, or even binge eating alone after the kids have gone to bed, then this is for you. I'm Sarah Parker and I'm the founder of Be Free Health Coaching. I'm a certified health and life coach and emotional eating specialist. And I help women who feel out of control with food and have spent years yo-yo dieting and even binge eating and emotional eating. And in this video, I will explain the importance of eating regular balanced meals to avoid constant snacking and emotional or overeating. And I will give you 3 tips on how to meal plan to avoid overeating at night. Now, I'm not saying that this alone will solve all your struggles. So emotional and binge eating and unwanted eating behaviours are nuanced and they're complex. Often they come with multiple causes, but one of the most common that I see is irregular or restricted eating. Now this can be due to restricting because you're trying to lose weight, forgetting to eat, very common for people with ADHD brains like me, or because life is busy and by the time you sorted everybody else out, you've not eaten yourself, your blood sugar is low, and you're ready to eat anything in sight as long as it's not healthy. Like, wouldn't it be great if we all craved a nice grilled chicken Caesar salad instead of a bag of crisps and a pack of cookies? But either way, restricted and irregular eating causes blood sugar chaos. It causes blood sugar to crash, meaning you feel lightheaded, dizzy, shaky, irritable, can't think straight and lose concentration. So you've likely been so busy you've not even noticed and just grabbed things on the go, likely trying not to eat too many calories. But by the time you're finishing work and making the kids dinner, you're really running on fumes. So you pick up on the kids' dinner and tell yourself that it doesn't count. You pick at food, never really sitting down to eat yourself until the kids are in bed, at which point you finally got a minute to yourself and you think, I don't even care anymore, I'll start tomorrow. And you wind up with takeaway or frozen pizza or even binge eating. Whereas if you'd take a bit of time to put together a simple routine and create a meal plan that you actually enjoy, then you would have easy snacks to grab when you need them. You'd have had your 3 regular meals planned out. You'd have eaten enough to give you energy and stabilize your blood sugar rather than trying to eat as little as possible so you can lose weight. You wouldn't have ended up in a position where you're just exhausted, hungry, and don't care anymore. So you wouldn't have gone on that 1,000-calorie binge at night. Now, often women think that if they eat regular meals, they will gain weight. Because unfortunately, diet culture has taught women in particular, and increasingly men, but in a different way, that food is calories only. That food is simply something we eat because we have no self-control, rather than something we need to actually stay alive, stay healthy, and have nutrients to keep us healthy. So food is positioned as the enemy or something sinful, but it isn't. So when you eat regular meals and eat enough food, you have enough energy to get through the day. So you have stable blood sugar levels. You can think more clearly to make the decision you need to support yourself. And you're not semi-starving yourself, which creates mental food noise and leads to binging or overeating at night on the 1,000-calorie binge of sugary foods, which spike up your insulin levels. Now, if you can relate to anything that I've said here, and this is something you're struggling with and you'd like professional help and evidence-based approach to overcoming emotional and binge eating and yo-yo dieting, then take a look at my health coaching sessions and programs at befreehealthcoaching.co.uk. And if it appeals to you, then you can book in for a free, no obligation clarity call to see if working together is the right next step for you. Now, one of the most foundational steps to getting back in control around food and reducing emotional and binge eating is to start building simple routines and strategies for meal planning and making sure you are eating regular balanced meals it's the first thing that I do when working with my clients. So here are 3 simple habits you can start using now. So you want to start with regular meals. So you have 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. So this will stabilize your blood sugar levels. And this enables you to have the energy that you need to get through the day. And it will also as well reduce those cravings, because when blood sugar levels go up and we eat a lot of sugar and caffeine, they spike right up, but then eventually they crash back down again. And that causes the cravings for usually sugar and caffeine to get back up again. But if you eat regular balanced meals, then you won't have that problem because the blood sugar levels stay stable. Now, when planning your meals, you want to be aiming for about 1/3 protein, 1/3 complex carb, and 1/3 veggies as like a general guideline. So I actually don't do food rules when working with clients. So women have way too many food rules, like going on in their head, to the point that they come to me and they're like, I don't even know what to eat anymore. I just want to feel normal around food. They become paralyzed. So that's a rough guideline to aim for, but like don't stress yourself out about it. Then tip number 3 is to start getting into the habit of setting out about half an hour to an hour aside each week to plan out meals for the week that you actually enjoy. And that's the key here, because if you don't enjoy them, then you won't stick to it. Okay? And who wants to do that anyway? Who wants to be miserable eating foods that they don't really like? Okay? So make sure that they're foods that you actually enjoy and that give you energy. So when you're planning these out, you want to make an ingredient list. And also as well, when you do this, you want to ask yourself, what obstacles can you see coming up that might get in the way? So it might be that you get together with a partner, plan what you're eating for the week so everyone knows who's doing what. And, look at things like the kids' schedule, what your working hours are like, and actually look saying, okay, is this really realistic for me to, cook a meal from scratch on this particular night if you've got, kids events and that kind of things and you're going to be late home from work. So you want to be looking at your routine as well and looking at what is actually realistic for you to achieve. That is where I see a lot of women go wrong. So they come up with these like idealistic meal plans, which work in the ideal world. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in the real world where, kids get sick, things happen, life events. So you need to be making sure that you plan around those things and that you're sticking to a realistic routine. So there you have it. You want to make sure regular meals, so 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. Want to be a rough guideline of aiming for about 1/3 protein, 1/3 carbohydrate, and 1/3 of vegetables on your plate. But again, not something to majorly stress yourself out about. Go with something that you enjoy and that gives you energy. And then looking as well at what is a realistic routine, looking at your planner or diary for the week and seeing what's on and making your meals around that as well. So, like this alone, these tips won't mean that you overcome emotional eating or late night eating, like particularly if you struggle with binge eating at night. But it can reduce it, and it's the first step towards becoming emotional and binge eating for good. So remember, if you want more than just tips from YouTube, then take a look at my health coaching sessions and programs for emotional and binge eating at befreehealthcoaching.co.uk and book in for a free no obligation clarity call to see if working together is the right next step for you.